Okay, you now should have gone through that practice handout that I made up on the banking system. And in this video, I'm going to go through the responses, the answers for it. If you haven't done it yet, turn the video off, go do it first. I think you'll learn more that way. Okay, so you walk into a bank, you deposit $1,000 that had been in your wallet into your checking account. The reserve requirement for banks is 10% or 0.1. Will this deposit create any additional deposits? And yes, it should, because the bank is going to loan that money out, most of it out, and that money might come back into the banks also. What is the theoretical money multiplier? Theoretical money multiplier could be as much as 1 over RR, which is 1 over 0.1, which is 10. Now the next statement here is assume that banks keep no excess reserves, all cash in circulation is deposited in the banks. That's to make the problem easier. That way it's real easy to calculate what the money multiplier is. Okay, what will be the total value of all the new checking deposits, including the $1,000 that you deposited? Well, it's going to be 10,000. 1,000 times the money multiplier, which is 10. Will the monetary base change? No. Just because you take that deposit and go deposit it in the bank doesn't mean that the Fed has created any more money. They created that money a long time ago. It's been sitting around in your wallet. Where is the $1,000 in currency now? Well, if that deposit goes into the bank, they keep loaning out, people keep depositing and loaning it out, it ends up in bank reserves. The entire amount. The best way to look at this problem is think of these in terms of these Venn diagrams. So originally we had $1,000 in circulation. That's part of M0, it's part of M1. When that money gets deposited into the banks and goes through this money multiplier process, it moves over into the reserves part of M0. And if we have a money multiplier of 10, then that means the checking accounts will increase. So this 1,000 comes over here in reserves, and the banks have to keep 10% of their deposits. That means that that 1,000 reserves will support $10,000 in checking deposits. So theoretically, we could end up with, instead of that $1,000 being in cash in circulation, we end up with an extra $10,000 in checking accounts, and that whole $1,000 in cash that you had ends up in the bank vault. So if the money supply is equal to currency in circulation plus checking accounts, did the money supply change, and by how much? Yes. It changed by $9,000. Because before we did this, that $1,000 added to 1,000 in M1. But afterwards, now M1 has got an extra 10,000 in checking accounts, but 1,000 less in cash in circulation. Now this says if M1 was $1,000 before the deposit, that means the actual number for M1 was $1,000. What is M now? M1 now? Well, now it would be 10,000. And how much from currency in circulation? 0. Because first we had $1,000 in currency in circulation. Afterwards, we have no currency in circulation, but we have $10,000 in checking accounts. So M1 went from 1,000 to 10,000, an increase in 9,000. And by the way, traveler's checks here, I used to talk about them. I don't talk about them anymore because actually traveler's checks just aren't used much anymore. It used to be counted as cash in circulation. People used traveler's checks to go traveling so they wouldn't have to carry cash in case the cash got stolen. But now with ATMs around the world everywhere, no one needs to use traveler's checks anymore.